Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Wow. Oh. Well, hello there, my little psychedelic furs. Welcome to Louis Daylights Photography. I'm your host, Louis Daylights. So, there are a lot of unanswered questions, but in this episode, we're going to be discussing my new love. That's right, the RB67 SD Professional. Maybe I'll say it in the right order next time. I picked up the Mamiya RB67 Professional SD, and I picked up the 1990 Mamiya Professional SD RB67. Wow. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the Mamiya RB67 Professional Pro SD. Professional Pro. In this episode, we're going to be discussing and seeing in action the Mamiya RB67 Pro SD. There are a lot of videos out there with this camera, but this episode is going to focus more on getting it out there on the street, shooting portraits, shooting whatever I can, and bringing it back to see what all the hype's about. So in this episode, we're going to be paying a visit to a buddy of mine and his son who joined us for a photo shoot. We kept it simple, and that's the beauty of this camera. You can go anywhere. It doesn't have to be a amazing location shoot. It can be literally in the front of someone's house. So, stay tuned. I know I sound unrehearsed. That's because I'm shooting from the hip. But I'm shooting from the hip with the Mamiya RB67 Pro SD. I gotta tell you up front, this is one sexy looking camera.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, physically the camera is to die for. I can't get enough of it. I've actually shot 3 times with it since I unboxed it on my staircase right when it arrived with FedEx. I wanted to sit down and do it actually on camera, but I couldn't contain myself. It's sexy, it's beautiful, it's sleek, it's got an amazing view, and everywhere you go, heads will turn. What can we say about the Mamiya RB67 Pro SD that hasn't been said in other videos? Actually, there are not that many videos with the SD. A lot of people have the RB, then there's the RB Pro S, and then the RB Pro SD, which was the last of this series of cameras that were released, and in 1990 was the year that this one came out. It's sexy, it's beautiful, it's sleek. What can I say about it? Everywhere you go, heads turn. She's heavy, she's a big girl, but big girls need love too. The RB, as you know, stands for rotating back. I'm gonna be real careful because there's actually film in here, and film has turned into quite the expense, and every picture counts. So the RB stands for rotating back, and it's cool because you can go portrait or you can go landscape. The differences between the SD and the Pro S and some of the original cameras is that the Mamiya Pro SD has the rotating back like all the other ones, but this one is a motorized back. So as the other cameras, you're having to pull the shutter this way on this side. There's also a second shutter on the back of the film back that has to be pulled as well. I don't understand the mechanics of it, but this is a fully mechanical camera. There are no electronic components in there. There's 4 AA batteries in here for the motorized back. And I love it, man. I feel like I'm driving a vintage Ferrari, because a lot of people that I've seen on other videos, they're forgetting to crank the shutter on the back here, and sometimes they forget to crank here. And if you don't crank both, then you might end up with a double exposure shot, or you might end up not having any shots at all, or it just slows down your workflow because you're forgetting to do that. Now the motorized back, man, it's sweet. It's really cool because when you load the film, you just hit the start button and it winds it all the way to number 1 for you, and then you only have to, in between shots, you only have to pull this crank, we'll call it. We'll only have to pull on this forward to make sure that you go to the next frame, and the other one goes on its own here. And when the film ends, it winds it all the way to where it needs to be in order for you to pull it out. So it's magnificent because it's got power windows, right? Like the vintage car that's got power windows. This is powerful, it's futuristic, it's got everything that you need. There's even some other features on here I haven't explored yet, but I know it has everything to do with making sure that your motorized back is working properly. You can do multiple exposures here. It's got a button that you would press forward to make sure that that gets activated. What's really cool is when I got to Vani's house, I went to pull the trigger. I had it on a tripod. Everything seemed like it was cool, and I couldn't fire a shot. And I said, what the heck's going on here? And I remembered that there's this thing right here that you have to pull out. It's what separates the film from being exposed when you're removing the back for whatever reason. And so before any shot, you have to take it out and you have to slide it here, and I'm doing it without being able to see, but yeah, basically it's got a little slot there. It's not the most attractive thing to see a big metal plate next to your camera, but that's where you can keep it for safekeeping. And then when you're done shooting, at the end of your shoot, you just pull it out. You make sure it goes in between the 2 spots and you're good to go, man. And you won't be able to pull the trigger. You see, it won't let me pull the trigger even though I cranked it and it's good to go. So it won't let me do that. That's a safety feature. I think it's great. You'll see it in the video when I forget to do it. It's got the waist level viewfinder, which is fantastic. Everyone believes that it's like more beautiful than real life. You are able to remove this and get a viewfinder. They're kind of bulky and a little bit expensive for the age of these apparatuses, but it's cool. I don't mind the waist level viewfinder. I keep it on a tripod the whole time. I'm not trying to risk it. Maybe when I get a little bit better at composing and kind of managing the camera, I might even get the left hand grip that's out there. It's cool. I'm shooting with the 90mm lens. They say that the 90mm in medium format cameras is equivalent to a 45mm lens in 35mm cameras, which is not medium format, but 36mm. Regular format? What would you call that? This is all new to me. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional when it comes to shooting film, but I come with a history of about 20 plus years of shooting digital, and coming back to film has been very therapeutic. And I'm finding that that's the trend with most people who are operating these type of cameras. I gotta tell you though, these lenses here, man, they're good glass. You can see it through the waist level viewfinder. You can see it in the final product. It's really good glass. I did pay a little extra for this one, just like I did for my Mamiya C330. I paid a little more than most people are paying because I want the mint, I want the plus plus plus. I want to be able to take the camera out and trust that it's gonna do well. And I know a lot of people are like, they've got the horror stories of things that they've purchased with the mint plus 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 setup on eBay, and they still have issues with like their bellows system. And the reason I went with this one, first of all, because it is a 1990 version of the camera. You know, the RZ is the next one up, and that one has more electronic components and mechanical components. This one's fully mechanical. So from the content and the research that I did, I was finding that people who own the RZ 6.7, that one, which is part of the same family, you could say, because now it's 2022, if that camera breaks or something happens to it electronically, you might be out of gas, because they're really tough to get fixed. If you even find a place that can get it fixed, I'm hearing that it's super pricey. And that's not to say that things can't go wrong with the Mamiya RB67 Pro SD, but they're more manageable if something goes wrong. Something that kind of goes wrong every so often are the seals in between the back and system itself, like the actual base of the camera. But actually, this motorized back, as part of an improvement to the Pro S camera that was out before the SD, was that those had like a foam. It was like a foam thing that was kind of keeping it from light leaks and keeping it from whatever. And when those foams rub or they get old, they kind of come apart and they dissolve, and it creates light leaks. It creates all kinds of issues for the film. So when they came out with the SD, they no longer needed the foam ones. Now it was like a metal, and it was designed in a way that it was like keep them from degrading as one thing, and then at the same time prevent any light leakage or any kind of issues with the motorized back. So that's awesome. That right there was a selling point for me, because I did not want to have those issues and have the camera degenerate with time and lose its power. That plus the glass, plus the fact that if it does break down mechanically, there's less of a chance that I'm gonna have to pay a pretty penny to get it fixed. So those are all like true selling points for me, just because I don't want to go through the trouble of having to return it or sending it out somewhere to get fixed. And I'm finding that like the minute I grabbed this camera, I was supposed to shoot with the Mamiya C330 with Vani, and when this camera showed up, which was literally on the day that I was going to go see Vani, I hadn't been up on my settings and watching videos to see how it works. I did see a few here and there that inspired me to get it, but I wanted to have it in my hands before I actually started like learning how to use it, because I don't always retain information that's given to me before I can be like on hands playing with it. That's just, you know, an issue that I have. Basically, I got the camera and I just rushed and I took it with me to Vani's house, man, and these are the results. I'm gonna stop yapping. Everything that you need to know about it is available online from many other awesome photographers out there who are using it. But definitely the professional SD version of this Mamiya RB system or family, for me, is a no-brainer. Oh, and the other selling point, forgot to mention, is the focusing system is a bellow system, right? You can get real close to your subject. It does elongate the camera. But when I was doing the research, the guy who was selling the camera, he on eBay, he had replaced the bellow system. And I think, like, to me, the bellow system is like the most sensitive part of these cameras. And so you want to make sure that it's safe, right? You want to make sure that it's in the best conditions. And my Mamiya C330 also, when I purchased it, the guy had replaced the bellow system. So they're brand new, they're nice and shiny, everything looks great, because I know I'm gonna be able to use this for a while, right? Because I really love this camera, and like I feel like I put the C330 to the side and I feel like I don't even want to touch it anymore, and I almost don't even feel like playing with it because I've got this one here and I just love the results. I love taking it out. I love how it feels. Yes, it's heavy. People say it's heavy, whatever. I have it on a tripod. Try picking it up with a vintage tripod that I have for it. It's like super heavy. I need to pick up one of these more weight efficient tripods. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and leaving a comment so you can do the same. You like that? Don't Don't forget to subscribe. I love you. I don't even know you, and I love you.
Oh, it's good, bro. How's everything?
What's up, man?
Chilling?
Chilling.
All right. Yo, we're chilling here with Vonnie and fam, just slightly off camera. Basically, I reached out to my buddy because, so I didn't want people to say, oh, he only takes pictures of girls. Like, how come you don't take pictures of dudes? I said, because I never find dudes that are like handsome enough. And I'm still on my journey. Maybe we'll find one. Nah, I'm just kidding. So basically the idea was that we were gonna shoot with my Mamiya C330 and really like get some vibes from the 800 ISO film that I got, the Portra 800. And it's a decent day, sun is out. There are a couple scattered clouds, but not enough to really make a dent on anything to make it bad. So we were gonna do that. And then the Mamiya RB67 Pro SD. I had to. And now you'll know why. So basically what I'm gonna do, man, is I'm gonna try to get some shots from you with this camera. Yep. And let's start with you to break the ice. We'll get 3 shots of you right here, maybe looking in a different way. And then once I've done that, we can bring him in. So let's start with you right there. You don't have to look at the camera if you don't want to. We're fully ready to go. And in 3, 2, just stay as, oh wait, I gotta do the light meter. So it's at 800 ISO. I'm gonna put it here and it's gonna tell me what kind of light I should have based on this sunlight. So it should be at 250 with 22. However, this only goes, yeah, I can put it at 250. And then 22, it was actually already there. Weird. The last time this camera was shot was in Japan. This camera came from Japan. Finding the trigger here. Here we go. Stay as still as you can in 3, 2, sounds nice, right? So maybe back up a little and let's get a full body one, even if you got to go a little bit further close to the driveway over there. Take a step into the sidewalk. Yep. So I want to be able to get good depth of field. In order to do that, the f-stop's got to be as close to 3.8 as possible. So what I'm going to do is so 500 would be the closest I can get, and that would be 16. So I'm going to compensate. Since I can only go 416, we'll take it to 16, but we'll leave it at 400 instead of 500. And let's see what we get. You're in focus, you're good to go. Hold that. Nice. All right. One more. Maybe you could come lean on the hood of the Jeep and I can get some of these textures back here. You can do it there or anywhere, as long as I get, actually, if you go closer to the hood, I can get some of these backgrounds. You're coming in after this shot. So I had let me come close. I'm gonna do a close one. It's got a cool little line up top letting me know that if I get too close, there's a certain area that won't show on this. Let's try looking up at the sun. I know you got glasses, you should be okay. Yeah, hold that. Maybe turn your head a little bit, like if you were making an effort to see the sun, yeah. Actually, let's scratch that. Let's not do that. Maybe lean on the mirror, try something, yeah. Nah, you'll be fine. That's good, hold that right there. And I'll just meter to be on the safe side, 250, 22. You can do that, 250, 22. So the shot will be developed nicely. The depth of field may be questionable, but let's see. Hold that, looking good. 3, 2. Take the thing off and put those. If you wanna, for the shots with him, you wanna switch out into the yellow since we got this outfit, the one that you had, so you can see the tats on your arms. The tank top, the yellow tank. If you want to, you don't have to. I just want to be colorful, vibrant, and then we'll try and see what these tats look like. You haven't been photographed with them, right?
No,
really?
Not even in church because I wore a sweater.
Okay, so do that, and then while you're changing, maybe I'll take 2 or 3 shots of Your boy. If you want, let's try you sitting right there on the steps. Should be in focus there. What happens if you look that way? That's good. Hold that right there. Let me just look at the light. Those are the settings we trust. 3, 2. That's one, right? Now I'll do a close-up. Maybe from like right here. Light. Ready and hold on. Dad and son chilling. I want it to look like bro and bro chilling. All right. So you can stay standing, whatever you want. Feel, find your zone. Hold that. Very good. Beautiful. All right, hold that. Here we go. In 3. Everybody stay perfectly still. 2. Excellent. So, what about the two of you on top of that yellow spray paint over there? We're good. All right, hold that. I like that looking that way, Bonnie. Or where was it you were looking? That way. All right, hold that. Everybody's good. 3, 2. All right, last one, the two of you together on the steps. Or the two of you this way so I can get a nice long street behind you. So right there where you're at, yeah. All right, here we go.
Right up my shirt.
Are we good with cars behind me?
Yep.
3, 2. All right, fellas.